The story of a young Chinese woman who was completely deprived of her freedom is not just a personal tragedy. Looking deeper, it is a prime example of the deprivation of decision-making power, a risk considered by both the legal system and the financial markets alike. In modern societies, individual freedom is not merely a moral concept, but is also considered a kind of asset. Laws exist to protect that asset, much like how financial regulations are designed to protect the interests of investors. When an individual is placed in a state where they cannot make their own decisions, the value of that asset is virtually non-existent. This girl's situation didn't happen in a single moment. Extreme scenarios rarely appear suddenly. They often begin with small changes, with initial signs not significant enough to warrant alarm. In finance, that's when risk gradually accumulates in a system without being recognized or properly assessed. In personal life, that's when safety boundaries are gradually erased. From a legal perspective, this is why advanced justice systems place such emphasis on process. Process isn't meant to slow down justice, but to reduce the probability of irreparable error. In decisions involving life or liberty, speed is never as important as accuracy. In the context of financial markets, irreversible decisions are called tail risk, extreme risk. Large financial institutions don't seek to completely eliminate tail risk, as that's impossible. Instead, they focus on ensuring that when risk arises, the system still has the capacity to respond. In this girl's story, the core issue isn't just the damage that has occurred, but the near total loss of the ability to react. When an individual is completely controlled, all choices become one-sided. In investing, that's the state investors fear most, being trapped in a position from which they cannot adjust or exit. In this respect, the law acts as a mechanism for managing social risk. The rights to protest, monitor, and protect human rights exist not because the system is perfect, but because people can make mistakes. Each additional layer of protection reduces the likelihood of irreversible consequences. This story also raises a bigger question: why do people often underestimate risk until it's too late? In finance, this is a familiar phenomenon. When the market is growing steadily, risk is taken lightly. When everything collapses, people realize that the problem wasn't volatility, but a lack of preparation for the worst-case scenario. Similarly, in personal life, the loss of freedom is rarely immediately apparent. It is often masked by seemingly harmless appearances. Only when choices cease to exist do people realize the true value of control. From a financial perspective, the most important principle is not maximizing profits, but preserving the ability to choose. A smart investor always leaves themselves more than one escape route. From a legal perspective, a just society must do the same for the individuals within its system.